Data analytics has been a buzzword nowadays, and everyone is looking to learn or to get more insight into data and data analytics and AI and all these stuff, right? So, before we dive into the practical integrities of it, I would like to understand from the audience. Uh, like, I will begin with a question. Like, what do you consider is the difference between data science and data analysis? Okay, so these two are the buzzwords which are there nowadays. So one is data scientist. One can become a data scientist, another person can become a data analyst. So what do you consider to be a key difference between these two terms? And before once we discuss this, we'll go ahead proceed with data analysis. But before we dive into data analysis, let us have a deep discussion, a brief discussion on data science and data analysis. Anyone who'd like to contribute?
I believe one is theory and another one is practical.
Okay. So which one is theory, sir?
Science is theory, analysis is practical.
Okay. Science is theory. Okay. But in science, although it is based on theoretical rules and concepts, but we see a lot of experimentation happening in science, and physics is all about physical things. So don't you consider that data science is also something not only theoretical but also a practical concept?
Well, it is a means of verification of those theories through practical.
Okay, correct. So, yes, let me start the session with this aspect, like what is data science and what is data analysis. So, as we understand that data science and data analysis are two branches of understanding data and dealing with data. But when we talk about it or when we discuss about it, they are basically, we can say they are interrelated, but still there is a difference, and both the streams are having its own uh, understanding or own fields. So I'll just share my screen now and I'll just show you something on this, and then we will deep dive into the data analysis. Okay, so I'm just sharing. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Can someone confirm?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay,
It's visible, sir.
okay, great, thank you. So you can see yeah. So on the left hand side there's data analyst, and on the right hand side you can see data scientist. So basically, data scientists work with the data models and algorithm to predict the future. So whenever we talk about analysis is a historical thing. Okay, so it happens when we talk about the data which has already happened, something which has already happened. We are talking about that. So that is the thing of the past, and that is data analysis. But when we talk about data science, it is always looking into the future or predicting the future. So it generates some hypothesis and identify corresponding data needs to solve a problem. So data scientist is mostly working on creating a solution for a change or deploying some machines or model for the predictive things. As compared to that, on contrary, we have data science analyst who is actually looking into the data to get some insights out of that data, and that data insights is basically coming from the historical data, some trends and analysis we are doing, explaining the outcomes through visualizations and KPIs, through charts and graphs and all these things. And what do they both have in common? So it's a three-step process that they both do. One is data gathering, then cleaning and analysis. So this is what I wanted to bring into the notice of everyone present over here, that what is the role of a data analyst and what is the role of data scientist. Now let's deep dive into Excel, and I'd already shared one sample file. I hope everyone must have downloaded it, and we are good to go with that. Have you all downloaded? Are you all ready?
Sir, you can share it again because new audience is also here.
Okay. So I had shared it in the group, I guess, in the group Speak for Success. It's there in the
Yes.
group. because in Meet there is no option of sharing the file. In Zoom we can still share it in the chat, but I guess here we don't have that option. So can I share it in the chat? Let me just try in doing that. I can just share a link to it. So just give me 1 minute. I'm just sharing the link to download the file from the drive, and once it is ready, we can again download it and use it. So just a minute. Okay. So I'll be sharing a link here to the file, and you can use that link to download it from the Google Drive, and you can use it afterwards. And even if you're not able to download or use it right now, you can just see what I'm doing, and you can practice it afterwards. That can also be done. Okay, instead of we waiting for the file to be downloaded and not. So just I've got the link now. I'm sharing it with people in the chat. Okay, I've shared the file link to download it, and I think through that link you'll be able to download it. Don't work on the file on the drive. You download it and copy and save it on your desktop or any other drive, and then work on it. Okay, so let's deep dive into it. Let's start our session, and now I am sharing my screen again, and I'm going to show you what kind of data do we have and what kind of analysis we can do with this data. So basically, I've taken a file which is globally used file for data analysis. And whenever we do Tableau or Power BI or any other application also, it is the file which is generally used. It is a data set which is generally used because it is very good and it has a lot of insights into it. I hope my screen is again visible. Can you give a confirmation?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So I'm just logging into my phone also so that I can see the chat as well. So just allow me to, yeah. Okay. I hope I'm not having a disturbance now on my voice. Am I clear?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you're
sir.
completely audible.
Okay, great. Chali, let's start. So see, in this file, in this Excel file, we have three sheets as everyone can see. There's order, return, and people. Correct? So we have three sheets in the Excel, and order sheet has columns A to U. And if I just scroll down to the end, you can see that the data is ranging to 9,995 rows, or we can say it's a 10,000 rows data. So basically, it is a sales data of an e-commerce company you can consider, okay, or an online store. So there is a row ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID, customer name, segment, country, city, state, postal code, region, product ID, category, subcategory, product name, sales, quantity, discount, profit. So many columns are there and so many rows are there, and the data is spread across various countries, product, categories, subcategory, customers, order date, ship date, and all this. In the return sheet, we have only two columns which says return and order ID. And if you check, if you put a filter on the return, you will see that there is one option only, which is yes. So that means all these order IDs have been written by the people. And if you see the count, it is 296. So out of 10,000 orders, around 296 or 300 we can say are rejected or return orders. And in the third sheet, we have person and the region. So what would it indicate? Anyone? What would this should indicate? So there are four regions: west, east, central, south.
Maybe
And
the key manager for.
correct. So these are the key managers for these regions. Correct. So now suppose this is a typical data set which we get when we download the data from any ERP or any SAP or any other uh, platform. Now what we want to do is we want to look into the insights from this data. We want to collect some insights from this data and we want to present it to the management. Correct. Now before I start dealing in with this data, I would again like to ask you a question. The question is, at this moment, at looking at this data, can we get any insight from this data? Like if I ask you what is the total sales, what is the sales per year, what is the sales per product, which is the highest selling product, which is the highest profit making product, can you give me answers? Can we derive any answers by looking at this data in this format? The answer is no. I'm getting a no in the chat box. But why no? Why no? Because the data is into a raw format, correct? We can say the data is
We need
into
to
a
scan through different cells and columns.
sorry.
I'm sorry, that is the thing. Raw data, or we can scan through each cell to understand what is it.
Exactly. Correct. 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 So we need to summarize this data. We need to collate this data. We need to make it a structured data. It is already a structured data into a row and column, but we want to further summarize it so that we can get some insights out of it. Okay. Now, how to do this in Excel? Those who are already using Excels and knowing how to do this analysis. Okay. So rather me telling, so Banti has already given the answer, pivot. Okay. So the one option or the better option we can say is to use pivot tables, and we can use a pivot and we can summarize this data to get some insight. Correct. Any other format, any other way, or we can use some formulas, and we can write some formulas and we can summarize this like total sales or country wise sales and all, right? But nowadays AI is there, right? So we would like to use some tools or something where which you don't have to do a lot of things in Excel, but we can directly get the insight. So before I jump into that, let me just first go with the option that is being suggested by one of the participants, that is to create a pivot table. Okay. So what we will do is we'll select the entire data. Now whenever I use Excel, I've been a trainer for Excel over 10 years now, and I've been using it for last 20 years since I started doing CA articleship, right? Way back in 2007, 2008. So I've been using Excel since then. So I can say that the best way to use Excel in the right manner is to uh, use a lot of shortcut keys. Correct. The more shortcut keys you use, the more better you get over it, and you can do your work in a very less time. Correct. So Control A I have pressed, and you can see the entire sheet is selected. Now what we want to do is, you can see that I am not able to see some of the dates. It is coming in hash. Okay. So and you can also see that the names are also not appearing properly. Correct. So how can I adjust the width of the columns? Before we start doing the analysis, you have to do cleaning. So the data should look clean, the data should look good. Correct. So anyone who can suggest me a shortcut key which can help me in adjusting the width of the cells? Alt HOI. Okay. Alt HOI. If I do, can you see that all the columns are now properly aligned? Okay. And I'm able to see everything properly. Okay. So I'll just write the shortcut key over here. Alt HOI is what I have used. Correct. Secondly, now I want to create a pivot table. So we all know that in the insert tab, we get the option of to create a pivot. Correct. But then I have to go to insert and I have to go to pivot table, and then I'll select. Is there any better approach? The better approach is again to use a shortcut, and Banti has even given the shortcut key Alt NVT. So we'll press the Alt key. Now, for those who are not knowing these shortcut keys or not remembering this, I'll give you a trick. Since the topic of the session, Preeti has written that data analytics tricks using Excel. Okay, so we should include some tricks also over here, right? So the trick or the tip you can say is that when you press the Alt key on your keyboard, so what do you see? You see some alphabets popping up on the menus like home, insert, draw. You see H, N, P, correct? So these are called as hotkeys. Okay. So I want to go to insert. So can anyone tell me like what key I should press next? Tanya, maybe you can communicate with me.
So you can press N.
N. Very good. So what happens when we press N? We are into the insert tab now, and I want to go to pivot table. So what key I should press next?
V. Sorry, sir, there was some issue, network issue from my side. Can you
So
please
I'm just asking, yeah. So I entered into the insert tab by pressing the N key. Now what key we should press next? Because you want to go to pivot table. So what key do you see next to the pivot table? Do you
V.
see a V?
V. With
Yeah. So next is what we have to press a V, and then there are different options like where you want the data to come from. Is it to come from the table or external data source or from Power BI? We want the data to come from the table or a range, so we'll press T. So that is how this shortcut key is derived. Alt N V T. Those who already use it, they remember it. But those who don't remember it, now you can learn it. That when you press Alt key, all the shortcut keys become active. Then you press the next key and the next key, and that is how you reach. Right now, you see that the table is already selected, and we can see the name of the table is orders, and A1 to U9995 is the range. Correct. Now there are two options. One is to create the pivot table on the new worksheet, and the second one is on the existing worksheet. So what option do we select?
existing worksheet?
So do you see any space in the existing worksheet? It's already occupied with so much data, right? So it'll be
new
very
sheet.
much difficult
New
if we do it in the existing worksheet. So we'll go with a new worksheet.
worksheet.
We'll start a fresh worksheet. Okay, and you will see something like this. Correct. Now, many people don't see this pivot table in this format. So this is what a pivot table in your case will look like. Now, there is the problem here. Now, what is the problem? Is that I am having so many columns. There are 21 columns in this data set. Correct. I'm not able to see all the names of the columns over here. Okay. But maybe many people don't know this, that there is a setting over here. Okay, it is the month of February, and I'm addressing the August gathering in the month of February. Okay, so I am very much cautious about using the right words. So the setting here doesn't mean the setting that you might be thinking of, but it is a Excel setting, correct? So what we need to do is we need to click on this gear button, the here, and second option we need to select the field section and area section side by side. Yeah, 14th is on the way. Today is yesterday was Rose Day and today is Teddy Day. Correct. So although we chartered accountants don't have anything to do with this, but still, uh, those who are not, those who have the privilege to celebrate all these days, we just celebrate GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B, and we know tomorrow is the deadline for GSTR 1. Nothing else. No other days. Correct. So, so what I did is I just changed the format, correct, and it helped me in seeing all the columns headings in one go. Now we have four options like filter, row, column, values, and in the value you will see a sigma also. So sigma means summations, that means total. So I just said that we want to analyze the data. So we want to summarize the data, and we have only four columns which are having numerical data like sales, quantity, discount, and profit. And all the other columns are basically having some dimensions or some textual data, correct? So, what should we do now? So, we should put the sales into the values and see what happens at the background. When I put the sales in the value, do you see a number coming up? And the number is 22 lakh 97,200. Correct. Now I want to show a magic over here. Okay, are you all ready to see a magic? Tanya, you are ready?
Yes, sir.
But we have not charged anything for this, so you are seeing a magic trick by for free. Okay, no worries. So here is the magic. Do you see this number getting turned into a rupee symbol, a currency, followed by commas and decimal?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'll just undo this. Okay, so this was this format.
Hmm.
Then something happened, and now it is in this format. So how it happened? There is no jadoo now because it is sunset already. Control Shift and 4, correct. So shortcut key does the magic over here.
Currency.
Yes, we are formatting the currency, but how we are formatting is we are using shortcut keys. So again, my emphasis is to teach you how to use the shortcut keys in Excel, correct? So Control Shift 4, when you press, it will give you the amount in the rupee format, and we can study this now properly. So what we can see is the total sales of the entire data set of 10,000 rows is 22 lakh 97,000, correct? Now, I would like to see the profit as well. So, what I'll do is I'll just put a tick on the profit. And do you see the profit as well, which is 2 lakh 86,000. So, we can see 22 million is the sales and 2 million is the profit, correct? So, we are earning near about 10% profit margin, correct? But now I would like to analyze the country wise sales. So I want to get deeper into the insight, and now I want to see how much I'm earning for each country, or from each country what kind of revenue we are generating. So what we'll do is we'll put the country into rows. So you can see it is just drag and drop. And when I put the country into rows, there is only one country, United States. So there is no point in putting the country. What I can do is instead of the country, I can put the state. Now, if I put the state, see what it is telling us. It is giving us all the states wise revenue as well as the profit, correct? And why some of the numbers are coming into red? Since it is February, that's why. Loss.
There are a
Yes,
lot.
there is a loss. Correct. So once we apply the number format, it automatically formats the data into positive and negative. So whenever there is a negative number, it is automatically appearing into a red color. And can I filter the numbers by color? Is it possible? If I want to see all those states making losses, can I do that? Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes, sir.
So what we can do is we can sort this column, okay? But when I'm trying to apply sort, it is not giving me that option. The options are disabled, okay? So maybe I'll just select the numbers. I'll just remove the total. I'll select the numbers, and now again I right click on this and now I go to sort. So you can see it is not giving me that option, correct? But here, if you go to the pivot table section, and in this section, when you go to sum of sales and you right click on this, here also you have value field settings, and you have show values and summarize values and all this, but you don't have the option of sort. So what do we do now? So if you go to state, and there is the option of value filters, okay, but still we can see top 10, okay, and in the top 10, instead of top 10, you can say bottom 10 and basis of sales and click on OK. So on the basis of sales we are doing now, let us say we want to do on the basis of profit. So I want to see all the loss making sales from the state. So I can go to value filter again. I can clear this filter. I can say okay, filter my states not on the basis of profit sales, but on the basis of profit. Okay, and now let us do that. So you will see that now the state with the highest loss is coming first, Texas, Ohio, and all these things. Okay, so this is how you do the analysis. Okay, now this is one thing. So this is one part of it. So we had got state-wise sales. Now suppose I don't want state-wise, but I want the segment-wise. So I'll just put off the take out the state and I'll put the segment into rows. So now there are three segments. Okay, so consumer, corporate, home office, and we can see the segment-wise sales. And apart from the along with the segment wise, I want to see the uh, category wise also. Okay, so I put one thing into segment into rows. Now what we can do is, or maybe we can put the region into columns now. So I'm putting the region into column. Now see what happens is, whenever you want to expand your pivot table and it doesn't give any space, it will give you some it will give you some errors, right? So I'm just putting this over here. Again, what I'm doing is, so instead of this hanging in the air, what we can do is we can put it on the left hand side corner. So now it is nicely intact at one place. And now we can decide what we want to do. So I want to see the region wise sales and segment wise also. So I'll putting the region into columns. As I put the region into column, you will see that now it is giving me the segment wise and region wise sales. So central, east, south, and west, and the profit and the sales as well. But these are all again numbers. I want to see the charts. I want to see some visuals. Okay. So what we will do is we will go to insert, and now we will insert some charts. Okay. And the most simple and the most popular chart among the category of charts is the vertical or the column chart, we can say. Correct. So now we can see these charts, and there are three segments: consumer, corporate, home office. Okay, now why I'm seeing different colors, bars over here, on what basis? These are different regions, correct? And we have put region and profit as well. Now if I remove the profit and I keep only sales, I will see four colors bars. Why? Because there are four regions. Okay. Now, right now you are not able to see any data. There is no numbers. But still, if I ask you that which segment is giving us highest sales, can you answer? Everyone, those who have joined us live, which segment is giving us the highest sales? There are three segments: consumer, corporate, home office. Which segment is giving the highest sales revenue?
Consumer.
Consumer, correct, consumer. And which segment is giving the lowest sales revenue?
Home office.
Home office, correct. So this is the benefit of doing the analytics. This is what we have to learn in Excel when we are doing analytics, so that without seeing the numbers also, we can make out like which segment is giving good result, which segment is not giving good result. Okay. And now if I ask you which region is generating highest sales, suppose I don't want to see the segment, but I want to see the region wise sales. Okay. Now what change I should do in my table so as to see the region wise sales? Can anyone tell me what should I do in the table so that I can see region on the x-axis and maybe the categories otherwise? So we need to switch the axis. Okay, we need to, yeah, region or row. So what we will do is we will go back to our pivot table settings, and now we will put the region into rows and the segment into columns. And now, do you see the region wise sales? Correct. Now, let me ask you the same question. Which region is giving the highest revenue? Which region is giving? The West region is giving the highest revenue. And which segment in the West region? Then we can say consumer segment in the West region. In all the region, the consumer segment is giving the highest revenue. Which is the region which is giving the lowest revenue?
South in
South.
home office.
Correct. 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 Now let us play with this data, or let me show you something more interesting rather. So what we will do is we will insert We will go to pivot chart analyze, or first rather I will select the pivot table. Okay, so I will select this pivot table and I'll go to analyze pivot table, and there is an option of insert slicer. Okay, insert slicer. Now you will see that the insert slicer option is not active right now. It is not able to, I'm not able to work on it. Can anyone tell me why is it so? Sorry, I have a habit of asking a lot of questions, so I cannot change my habits now. I'm already like selected chart. No, okay. So now I'm selected the pivot table. Now I'm going to analyze pivot table. Still, I'm not getting the option of inserting the slicer. It is disabled. And see, this thing, the command is currently disabled. Now, how do I enable it? Now, if you just focus, if you just look at the name of the document, so along with the name, there is a message over here. It is saying compatibility mode, correct? So what we need to do is the Excel file which I've opened, it is open in a compatibility mode, and right now it is not compatible with this Excel version. So what we'll do is we will make it compatible. Now how? So I will just have to go to file and save as, and in this file save as, what I'll do is I will just select public, okay, so that I can make some changes. And now you will see, and I will just select the workbook, okay. I may rename this file also, and now you will see that the compatibility mode will go off. It should go off, and once it is gone, then I will be able to work with the pivot table also, or with the slicers also. Okay, so right now why it happens, because the Excel which is downloaded may not be of the same version that you are using. That is why it sometimes gives some trouble or some problem. Okay, let me just name it as today's date, and once I rename and I save it, it will give me the option to do editing. Let me close and open it again, because whenever we are doing pivot tables, if we are not doing slicer, then we are doing a crime, correct? It is not good for data analysis if you are not using slicers. So slicers actually give life to your data, and we are going to just witness. Now if you look at my file, it is not giving the compatibility error or issue as now. So again I'll put this here. Now again, when I click on analyze pivot table, do you see this insert now, insert slicer now working properly? Okay, it is in the active mode now. So when I click on the insert slicer, now what is a slicer? Okay, so what it is saying, to use this feature, you must refresh the pivot table. Okay, so let us refresh. Now what will this slicer do? It is having a some filter like option. Okay, so it will give you option to filter your data. Okay, on what basis? So let's say I want to filter the data based on segment, based on my category and subcategory. Okay, and I'll say okay. So what will happen is now I'll get three boxes like this. Okay, three cards, you can say whatever you would like to call them. So we have this. Now what we are going heading to is creating a dashboard kind of a thing, which is a dynamic dashboard. Okay, so now we don't require these grid lines. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to view and I'll remove the grid lines. Correct? Can you see a plain white background? Looking nice, clearer now, better. Okay.
Yes.
Now see the magic number 2 for the day. Okay. Now we will see there are three categories: furniture, office supplies, and technology. Correct. Now let me click on furniture, and you have to keep your eyes on the chart. Okay, everyone look at the chart and see what happens. So I just clicked on furniture, and now I'm clicking on office supplies, and now I'm clicking on technology. Do you see the chart changing? The bars length is changing,
Yes, sir.
correct? And now we see only one column, okay? Because what we have done is we have selected only technology category in the home office, okay? Now if I remove the slicer from here or from the segment as well, I will see everything, correct? Now suppose I want to see what is happening in the corporate segment, so I'll click on corporate. So it will give me the corporate sales. In the corporate, I want to see what is the sale in the office supplies, so it will give me only office supplies. In the office supplies, I want to see only the envelopes, so it will give me like that. So you can filter your data and you can change your charts without actually applying the traditional filter that we do, correct? So this is how you can make your pivot or the chart looks dynamic. Now one more thing I would like to take up now is that, sir, okay, pivot is fine, but so there were some orders which got returned, correct? And that detail is in the return list. Now, suppose I want to find out how many orders got returned, or what is the value, what is the profit lost on the orders which got returned. Okay. So how can I include that? Because these values are not coming in the pivot table. So how can we do that? So can we create a pivot table using multiple data in multiple sheets? Is it possible or not possible? What our audience has to say on this? Anyone who is having any idea of this sort of? So I'm asking a simple question that you have data in different sheets. The data is interconnected, they are related data, and I want to find out like which region the orders are getting returned from. Okay, so how can I get this information? How can I combine this information from different sheets in the Excel? If you don't have any idea, you can write no idea. Create
Yeah,
table
you can
and
use
connect.
some data filter, and then all the icons, that is the details, will be opened in a separate sheet. So
Sorry,
for example,
yeah, yeah.
no,
Please continue.
yeah, for example, debtors list if you have, and all the movements it is available in the sheet, the all the detailed transaction can be seen in different sheets.
Okay. So suppose I have this sheet people and region, right? So this region column is also there in the order sheet, correct? You can see the region column is there. Now I want to understand that from which region which order got rejected and who is the person responsible for it. And I want to create a table. What can I do in that regard? How can I connect the data from three different sheet into one sheet? This is my question is, and I've already got some answers in the chat. So people are suggesting lookup and connect. Okay. So how many of you know how to use a VLOOKUP? It is a nightmare in many people's correct? No. Okay. And how many don't know? So if you already knew this, then you would have done something better in the evening time than coming to Excel session. But those who have come, our job is to give them something which they don't know, correct? Create table. Yes. So now I will tell you that in Excel there is a feature where you can have pivot table combined from different sheets, data in different sheets, and that is called as Power Pivot. So have you heard of this name before? Now this is not Shah Rukh Khan, otherwise वो बोलता my name is Rahul, नाम तो सुना ही होगा. तो यहाँ पर आपने pivot table सुना है क्या? Have you heard of this before? Or how many actually have the power pivot in the Excel, in their Excel? क्या आपके एक्सेल में पावर पिवट है? मेरे में तो है. I have. Okay. No. So many people are saying no. So how do we get? Now many people say, sir, कुछ पैसे खर्च करना पड़ेगा क्या? कुछ सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना है? या do we have to invest any money? The answer is no. No. It is already there in your Excel. You have to just bring it there. So what you have to do is you have to go to File, Options, and in the option you have to go to Customize Ribbon. Okay. Oh, sorry, add-ins. Okay. So you have to go to add-in in the file and options, and in the add-in you will get option of manage. In the manage you have to click on com add-ins, that is commercial add-ins, com add-ins, and go. Now when you click on go, you will get a small dialog box. In the dialog box you will get the option of power pivot for Excel, which is unchecked. It might be unchecked in your case. You just put a check on this. Power map also you can put a check, and then click on OK. Once you click on OK, you will see this power pivot option over here. Okay. So those who want to try, they can try. And if you succeed, you can just put it in the chat. Okay, you are able to do it. Done. Okay, great. Great. Now, how to use this feature of power pivot? Okay, so what we will do is, for using that, first your data should be in table. Now, $1 million question to everyone. It's not 9 p.m., but still we are paying, we can play KBC. Okay. So the question is this a table? What do you see? The data, is it into a table or not a table? You have to just write yes or no. Is this a table? So I'm getting no. Anyone who is saying it is a table? No, it is not a table, but it has grid lines, it has columns. It is I can put some color also on the heading if you want it to be colorful, but still it will not be a table. Why? Because when we have data in a table, we see the it is a normal table but not an Excel table. Okay. Now what is a normal table and not an Excel table? Okay. So we are getting some new words over here. A normal table, an abnormal table. Okay. So I'll tell you what is a normal table and what is not a table in Excel. So whenever you have data in a table form in Excel, on the top, when you see all the other tabs, you see one more tab, which is a table design tab. Okay. So there is a tab which is called as a table design tab. And here right now, you cannot see any tab which is called as table design on my tabs. There is power pivot only, right? Now let me do one thing, control T. Okay. And control L also. Many people don't know that LNT. Okay. LNT chairman was very famous, was in news some time back, right? So you have to remember LNT. When you press L or T, control 90 hours working, and you know what you have to do on Sundays. So now it is a table, a colorful table, and you see a table design also, correct? But in the table design, there is a table one, right? So this is order sheet and order sheet table one. So we will call it as orders. Okay. So I'm just renaming this table. How do I get this? Control T. Again, we'll go to return sheet and we will convert this also into a table. Control T, and okay, we will put, now see, this is return and order ID are column headings. So we should delete this and this should become the column heading. Okay. So what I did is I did not select this. Now I'll make this into a table, control T. And my table has headers. Yes, you have to put a tick on this. And now this is table 2, table 3. I will call it as returns. I'm renaming the table names by the table name. So it is returns. And the third sheet and the last one, the people. Again, control L or T, anything you can press. My table has headers and click on OK. And we will call it as region, okay, or manager. You can call it as a manager table because these are the managers for the regions. So now we have three tables: order, return, and manager. Okay. Now what we need to do is, this is something interesting. You will go to Power Pivot and you will go to the first table and click on Add to Data Model. Okay. So we are creating a data model over here. Okay. So who says CA cannot do modeling? We are already doing modeling over here, but in Excel. Okay, so we are creating a data model, and you see the same data will come to a different window, and it is called as Power Pivot for Excel. And now it is order sheet. You can see the order sheet, correct? So what we will do is we'll just close this. Okay, we will just add it to the model and close it. Again, same thing you will do to the return, and again you will go to pivot table, and again you will say add to data model, and you see the order sheet is already there, and now we have added the return to this, correct? So the order and return, both data are added, and we will close this also. The third and the last time, we will go to the people sheet, and now we will add to data model. And now you can see we have three sheets together: order, return, and manager. Correct? Order, return, and manager. Correct? So, sir, these are already there. What we did extra. Now, see what we are going to do now. So, when you go to home, okay, now let's go to the diagram view. Can you see the diagram view option over here?
Yes.
So, we'll click on the diagram view. And what do you see? Do you see three tables now? Like three boxes, three squares, which are having the three tables which we named and the columns for those tables, correct?
Yes, sir.
You can see that. Now what we need to do is we need to create a relationship between these tables so that we can use the three tables in one pivot. So what is the common between the return and the order sheet? Which field is common?
Order ID.
Order ID. Okay. So what do? You drag it and drop. So जोड़ देना इनको ना. You have to just draw a line and connect them. So do you see now they are connected, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, when you look at the manager and return, do you see anything common in the manager and return? Is there anything common between returns and manager tables? The second table and the third table, is there anything common? No, no. So we cannot connect to any person if we don't have anything in common with them. Correct? So a connection can be established only when there is something common. But is there anything common between the manager and the order table? Look at all the fields in the order table. Is there anything which is common? The answer is region. So we'll go to region and we will drag and drop. We'll just draw a line from region to region, and you will see these two tables are also connected. Correct? And you must have all seen that movie Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. A friend of friend is a friend. Correct? So now we could not connect the manager and the return table, but we have connected the table. So it is indirectly connected. All the three tables are now connected. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we need to do, this was not the point. The point is to create a pivot table wherein we can find out that from what region, what orders, how many orders got rejected, and what was the revenue loss. This was my objective. So now I will click on the pivot table from this window. Okay, it is a window which is a different window from Excel. Excel is here at the back end. I am working on a different window which is called as Power Pivot for Excel. So now I will go to Home tab and now I will click on Pivot Table, and now you will see something different. So Tanya, you again see the two options: new worksheet or existing worksheet. So you remember what we have to select?
Yes, sir. New worksheet.
New worksheet. Good. Now, do you see all the three sheets together on the left hand side panel of the pivot table? Do we see these three coming? Correct? The order, manager, and return. So, can I pull the values from all the three? Suppose I want to see the region and the region wise rejection. So, I put the region into column, and or maybe I can put the region into rows and the manager into columns. So these are the regions, these are the managers. And I want to see the return order IDs. So I'll put the return into values. As I put the return into values, now what happened? It is showing 296, 296, 296, 296. Is it correct? 296 were the total number of orders. But here we want to find out the individual number of orders. Correct? So we are not able to get this result. Why? Because I did not select a common parameter, correct? Number 296, 296, 296. Relationship between tables may be needed. They are saying there is no relationship between the order and the return. So yes, we did not get any relationship, right? But what we can do is we can select the region from the order table because the order and the region were connected. So I'll select the region from the order table. Let me do that. And now let me select the return from the return table in the value. In the value. So order ID and order ID returns correct. Order and regions correct. Okay. Let me just refresh it once. Just a minute. Yeah. So see, now what we need to do is we had created this table. It is not fetching the right values, but it will give, correct? So what we need to do is we have to see the relationship established. Okay, once you establish the relationship, you will be able to get the right result also, correct? But this is something new, I think, which you have learned today, the power pivot. Okay, so this is power pivot, and in the power pivot you can create the pivot table using the three different tables. Okay, so we have got three different tables: manager, order, and return. And from that table you can take different variables and you can put it and get the result. So I'm just trying to work out on that. So I wanted to get the region wise status of the written order. Okay, so this should give me the exact number. It is not giving right now, but no worries. You can go to the pivot, power pivot, and you can see the when you go to manage, you will be able to see what is the problem. Okay, the data is already connected, so we are okay with that. There is no issues in here. So region is connected with region. Here also the order ID is connected with order ID. So the data is linked. So once the data is linked, we should get that result. There is some issue over here, but I think if you will try, you will be able to get the answers. Okay, to this. So basically, this is a new concept that I wanted to bring to everyone's notice that yes, we can do that. And I'll just show you one more thing, which I already created. Or if we have any questions, I would like to rather take up questions because since as per the time limit we are already 10 minutes ahead of the time. Yeah, so Preeti or Tanya, if there are any other questions, I would like to answer those questions.
So, audience, chatbot is open for you. If you have any queries, you can unmute yourself also. You can put the query in the chatbot also.
And see, it is just a beginning. In 2 hours you cannot, in 1 hour you cannot learn entire Excel. It takes ages and time to do. So I'll just say keep practicing, keep exploring, and a lot of things are there.
So, Preeti Goyal is, can we do all this with AI?
Yeah, definitely, Preeti. You can do this, but see, AI is just a tool. So we can do this with AI, but we should know how to give instructions. So if you upload this Excel to ChatGPT and you say, "Okay, create charts or create a pivot table," it will help you to do that. And if you use Copilot, which is a paid version, you have to subscribe for it. So Copilot will automatically create a pivot table. Even in the analyze pivot table, there is option of recommended pivot tables, so you can do that. But to a certain extent only, you can automate the processes. Rest, we all should learn how to do it ourselves, because whatever results AI will give, not very sure whether that will be right or not right. We have to still check it, so we cannot rely on the results by AI.
So, Suman has raised a hand. Yes, Suman.
आलोक जी सेशंस तो आप अच्छा ले रहे थे पर परिस्थितियां जैसी रहती है मैं पूरा अटेंड नहीं कर पाई रिकॉर्डेड मिलेगा ना हम लोग को
I think Preeti ji would be able to answer
मैम विल
this.
ट्राई टू गिव यू द रिकॉर्डेड वन बट एक्सेल का जो बेनिफिट लाइव में है वो रिकॉर्डेड में आप क्वेरीज नहीं पूछ सकते. विल
Correct.
ट्राई टू
और
गिव.
मैं आलोक जी से एक रिक्वेस्ट और करूंगी एक्सेल के फार्मूला का इनका जो भी है ना हम लोग को एज ए बच्चे पूरा मगअप करा दे बिना मगअप के काम नहीं आते फार्मूले.
मैम एक वो रेनबैक्सी से मेरा बात चल रहा है, कुछ टैबलेट्स हमने ऑर्डर को वो करवाई है मैन्युफैक्चर, तो वो अप्रैल में लॉन्च हो जाएंगी. तो वो सिर्फ सुबह शाम 3 दिन तक दवाई लेंगे ना, सारे फॉर्मूले याद हो जाएंगे और इंजेक्शन भी आने वाला है.
सर उसे एआई के टूल भी याद
रेडी
हो जाएंगे.
हाँ, वो थोड़े महंगे हैं. अभी एआई टूल थोड़ा चल रहा है ना, तो थोड़ा प्राइसिंग पे बात चल रहा है. बट इसके कैप्सूल्स और वो इंजेक्शन आने वाले हैं, वो आप लगाएं और फिर सारे टूल्स
सर आप
ऑटोमेटिक.
भिजवा देना कोई दिक्कत नहीं है ले लेंगे एकदम क्योंकि जो रिक्वायर्ड है उसमें तो कोई उपाय नहीं है
जी मैम जी.
क्योंकि ये जो फॉर्मूलाज है आज भी मैं यहाँ ऐसे ही घूम रही थी तो अभी ऐसे ही में भी बहुत चेंजेस आ रहे हैं सारी
जी
मीटिंग वीटिंग चल के सब बिजी चल रहे हैं अभी सारे कुर्सी
मैम,
वाले.
देर इज नो सब्स्टिट्यूट फॉर हार्ड वर्क. मतलब ये हमें है ना, जो मैंने चीजें सीखी है वो भी हार्ड वर्क से सीखी है. और मैं किसी को एडवोकेट ये नहीं करता कि आप एआई से मैजिक हो जाएगा या आप कोई फॉर्मूले. मैं, मेरे पास जो डेटा है वो सारा देने को तैयार हूँ, लेकिन जब तक आप खुद प्रैक्टिस नहीं करेंगे, खुद उसमें अपना सर नहीं खपाएंगे, टाइम नहीं इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, तब तक कुछ नहीं
सर
सीख
मैं
पाएंगे.
करने तैयार हूँ तभी तो मैं अभी अटेंड कर रही थी सेमिनार जितना
नहीं नहीं,
पॉसिबल
अच्छा
हो
है.
पा रहा था.
आई एम थैंकफुल, ग्रेटफुल
नहीं
फॉर
नहीं
ऑल द
मैं
पीपल.
जैसे ही देखती हूँ तो फिर कोशिश करती हूँ. अब
जी
कभी कभी ऐसा होता है ना कि बहुत शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन पे काम होता है तो
जी
उसमें संभव नहीं हो पाता बिना प्लान के आदमी जो परिस्थिति में रहता है तो नहीं
जी
कर पाता है. और आपको एक इंफॉर्मेशन और शेयर कर रही थी तीसरा सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस कोलकाता खुल चुका है.
जी मैम.
जी.
आप लोग के पास सूचना आई कि नहीं आई पता नहीं है पर मेरे पास आया था व्हाट्सएप तो मैंने लिखा कि क्यों इतना देरी से इन्फॉर्म की है क्योंकि हम लोग आउट स्टेशन रहते हैं तो जो डेट्स रहती है तो हाउ कैन मैनेज द ऑल.
जी नहीं, अच्छा है.
तब इसीलिए
सो
मैं बोल रही थी कि मतलब तीसरा सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस एक अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए और तैयार है अपने लिए. 1 2 3 पूरा तीसरा रेडी हो गया. आप सोचो कितना शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन पे काम हुआ मतलब मतलब 2 साल के अंदर ही मेरे हिसाब से बन के पूरा रेडी हो गया।
जी
Nice.
मैम। Alok sir is
तो
available offline also, Suman ma'am. Okay, any other query from the audience? Or we can wind up the session? I guess the queries are sir. Alok sir, I guess you have deliberated the session really well. So no queries are there from the audience. So tips
Yeah, actually, the
from the
queries will come once they start practicing.
true.
So, yeah, right. And thank you again, Preeti and Tanya, for wonderful coordination and for the smooth conduct of this session and for having me here.
So
So,
we have something for you.
Sir, as
Yes, Tanya, go on.
sir, this session was really insightful. So, as a token of appreciation, we are providing you with a certificate. Thank you so much for this engaging session.
thank you. Thank you.
Sir, hope screen is visible. Your certificate
Yes,
is
it is
visible.
visible. Yes, yes. Thank
That
you.
is
Thank you,
right,
Preeti.
because the session is online, so हम आपको physical नहीं दे पा रहे, but hopefully जब हम मिलेंगे we'll go to give it to you physically, because the session was very insightful. The way you have presented the session in a very deep manner, the step-by-step guidance from you, that was very insightful and very deep. So excellent session. Audience से भी there are the reviews are there. Excellent session by Alok sir, as always. So thank
Thank
you
you.
so much,
Thank
sir, for your time, for your guidance, and all-time availability.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope our audience